Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the dis and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, everybody out there in Facebook land? It's D to the J with the roll away, and today, yes, today is the day of the 100th episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, because I'm going to tell you 100 episodes. Man, am I excited to be here. Man, am I excited to be part of this. I'm so happy to be with all of you folks today, and I want to just thank you for being part of this. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. My CP Does Not Define Me. We're live on the Facebook page of My CP Does Not Define Me. I've recently upgraded StreamYard to be able to broadcast at 3 locations at one time. So we are live, and I've got to tell you, some last minute changes have happened, but you know what? I'm not going to let that detour me or define me or change my attitude or the way I am thinking, because 100 episodes are 100 episodes, and what a joy it's been to broadcast with you on the Disability Global Broadcast. We were on Let Go Radio at a time for a time. We're on Facebook Live. We're broadcasting everywhere. Everywhere that we reach, everywhere that we do this, we want to make a difference. And I want to take a few minutes and just say thank you for those of you that have tuned in every single episode, for those of you that have asked questions and asked comments and all of that. I am so happy to be able to do this. And I thank you is just not big enough. Thank you is such a small word, but to be able to be allowed to do this and to be able to reach people on a personal basis, it is beyond the shadow of a doubt one of the greatest experiences that I've been able to have to do this. And I cannot say thank you enough to the guests and experiences that I've had to be able to do this. It is such an honor for all the guests that have been here, and we're going to have some people up today. We're going to have some surprises. I did not make a flyer for this week's show because I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted it to be I didn't want to give anybody a heads up until the 100th show. I wanted it to come up, and I wanted it to be part of to be part of this and show, and as it comes up, I wanted everybody to see it live as it was and as it was happening. So what I'm going to do before we get started is I've got a couple of videos that I would like to share first from some of the folks that have done. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. From some of the folks that have done, I've been on the show before. And let me get this pulled up. Give me just a second. And I'm going to pull it. And our first one is from my buddy Kyle. And I want to just pull this up right here.
Hey, I just wanted to say congratulations on hitting 100 episodes of My CP Does Not Define Me. Your show is amazing because it allows people to be themselves and just be honest about their experiences. And I hope to still be here at episode 200, 300, however long you are willing to do this show, because it is a show that is necessary for those in the disability community to feel like they have a platform to just be heard and to be honest about what they experience without any shame. you give them comfort, and you are a fantastic interviewer because you just make it so real instead of something so fake and manufactured. It's honest, it's raw, and it's powerful. And you should be very proud of what you've created with this show, and I can't wait to continue to see you succeed.
That right there, I've known Kyle for a long time, and that right there, that 60 seconds right there means the world to me. I just, I don't even have words to express what that means, because Kyle's one of those that have been there and that have watched the shows, and chimed in and commented. He's been on my show with Christina. He's been on my show by himself. It's one of those things where you don't realize the impact on people until you have a chance to see that, and that for me is so powerful. We've got one more that I want to show. Let me pull this one up. Thank y'all for bearing with me here. This one is from Christina. She's also been on my show several times with Kyle and by herself. So we'll see what she has to say.
Hey DJ, it's Christina. I just want to say congrats on episode 100. You've helped so many people share their story, and you should be so proud of what you've done. Just when I think it can't get better, every week is a different story, and every week it's just more amazing the amount of people that you can reach through your guests and your own personal experiences that you share. Congrats and happy 100th episode.
And when I started this, I was excited, I was nervous, but I knew that I had one goal in mind. I knew that I wanted to reach people from the top of the rooftop, from wherever I could go, whatever I could do. And I just, it is amazing to me that the impact that I've had and some of the stories that I've gotten, and what I want y'all to know is that it impacts me as well, to be able to have you guys share your stories with me and to be able to hear all of you live. I've got memories. One of my greatest memories was, my first show. I can remember when I came on, when I started doing the Sports Minion radio show. I was so nervous because I love doing sports and I love broadcasting, and the opportunity that I received. We did 48 episodes of that, and it was amazing. And then later on, going into when I had shared the show with my brother, and we did several episodes together, it brought a new demeanor, it brought a new dynamic, it brought a new a new piece to it. And then all of a sudden I knew something in my heart wanted to go bigger. I wanted to talk about, I enjoyed sports and everything like that, and I enjoyed doing the show, and I'm so grateful for it. But I said to Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, I want to expand. I want to take something and I want to look at it from what I know. I want to talk about what I know and something that I can relate to. And when My CP Does Not Define Me was born, almost 2 years ago, it is amazing to me the reach that it's had and the interviews that I've done. You talk about a great opportunity to be able to have someone with guests with disabilities and different abilities share their story, and to go up and be part of it and know that they're making a difference as well as I am, because this is not really about me. This is not really about what I'm doing. It's about the guests that I have on and the power within their speech and their story. And it goes out to them. And Charles, I want to thank you for this comment. Nikki, thank you as well for the comment here. Let me just show these. You're welcome. Much success. Charles said this: the thing I realize is that your show is not this thing where it's poor people with CP disabilities. No, it's not, because and I love the fact that you say that, and I appreciate it. And you've been there for most of them as well, and I appreciate your support. The fact is, it is not about, oh, you poor people with disabilities. It is not. It is about much more than that, and it's so much more powerful than that. It's so much more dedication than that, because when a person with a disability or a different ability, whatever they suffer from, it doesn't matter. They have a voice, and they're meant to be heard. They're meant to be seen. They're meant to be shown. We as a people have to realize, and this is what My CP Does Not Define Me is all about. And this is why it's all about this. No matter who I have on the show, if I bring the Pope on this show, if I bring one of my coaches on this show, if I bring one of my past teachers on this show, my mentors on this show, Jack Dart on this show, I really want to show that person and their story, because they have something to give to the community about their life and their story and whatever their disability is. You see, that's the thing about it. I realize now that every person in this world has problems. Every single person in the entire world has problems. And it is very difficult sometimes to share your story. It is very difficult sometimes to confront the problems that you had. Guests like Tiffany Jackson, Sherry King, Shayna Thomas, Edwina Wilson, Corey Wilson. Gosh, I've had Josh on my show. I've had Justin and Melissa Fink. I mean, those are just a few of the people. Christina, Kyle, Bibiana. There are a lot of people that have been on my show, but it is their story and their impact on life, on their lives and what they're doing and what they're facing. Because the problem is, it is so, for some people, it's hard to get that first word out. For some people, it is so, and you know what? Brittany, another one, just a couple of weeks ago. This young lady right here, this is real. Okay. And that's what this show is about. When you get into stories like hers and you listen to it and you understand to the point what you do with what she goes through, her story was so powerful that it literally shook my very core. But someone else that needed to hear that, someone else that needed to see that, to see the emotion when she got talking about her children and how much she loves her children and what she had to get through to get over the drugs that she had and the alcohol that she had. When she shared all of that, and she was willing to open her heart on a platform like this and to show that you can overcome it, that you can do better, that you can get bigger, that God can allow you to heal, but you've got to see it yourself. And that is the reason that I do this show right there. Thank you for having this platform for us to share our stories, because it is about you. It is about you. You, the people that take the time to email me and say, hey, DJ, I want to be on your show because. And that's why I do interviews every Sunday with my guests before they get up here. I don't just bring a guest on the show and go, oh, I'm going to have you on the show. Can you come on? I tell them what it's about. I tell them why. I tell them when. I tell them where. It is a godsend. What you're saying is gold. That's one of the reasons I say I wouldn't be without CP. Justin, the fact, and here, let me just go down this road while we're there. It took me so long to realize that my CP was a blessing, that my CP was part of my life, that my CP was part of me, but it didn't define me. That's the piece of it. Thank you, Nikki, for being on the show. I was glad to have you. Again, Charles, we save lives. I know that is a huge statement. However, it's true. Yes, we do. When someone has the courage, and I want to talk about this for a minute, when someone has the courage to be part of the show that I'm doing and to step up on a platform where you're talking to people live, where you are able to do things live and people are chiming in and commenting and being part of it, that is where it becomes awesome, because then when they share their story and it becomes bigger than just a platform, it's about them. That is how we save lives, because someone else is able to hear it. Let me bring in a special guest real quick. Hey, Mr. Wilson, what's going on, sir? How you doing?
How you doing out there? How's everybody doing?
Oh, man, doing good. Glad to have you. Thank you for being here on episode 100. Go ahead.
100.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was just talking. We're getting a lot of comments just on, thank you for letting me share my story. That's kind of what I was just talking about. It is really not about me. It's about the people that come on this show and share their stories and get real. We just talked about Brittany Ryman. Brittany shared one of the most powerful stories on this show just a couple of weeks ago. When you're able to overcome drug addiction and alcoholism and go through the things and God brings you out of that, and someone else is able to listen to it, and they say, wait a minute, if she can, maybe I can. And that story gets heard, and it gives you something to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this show is about.
Yeah.
Letting people know that no matter your different ability, no matter what you suffer from, you do not suffer needlessly, and you do not suffer alone.
I think a lot of people feel like they're alone based on family, friends, and so they shut down. They don't share their stories, and a lot of times those stories can definitely change lives, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get past being afraid, and that's the key.
I think that's the big key right there, because that's, if I talk about it, it's going to hurt. If I talk about it, it's going to be too hard. If I talk about it, who's going to want to listen to it? There was somebody who's going to be on the show later, and I think you've said it as well. If you can reach one, if you can start with one, that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Start with one, and you go, and they go forward, and something touches them, and they go to somebody else, and they go, you know what? I saw this episode of this show today that I'd never seen before, and this guy was up there, and he had this other person, and they were talking about something they went through, and it just made me feel all sorts of weird and scared, but then I realized, wait a minute, I went through it too, and then now I want to talk about it.
Yeah. And that's, in saying that, you look at a lot of times, as we talked about with fear, we feel our story isn't relevant. Our story doesn't have an impact on anyone else's life because we feel like we're different. Our story is different from everyone else's. And though we all go through different experiences, we still have similarities that bind us together as human beings, as people, as brothers and sisters. And that's what you got to look for, is when you're trying to talk to people, you have to look for, get away from the fear and just look at, how can I connect on a personal level and make a difference in someone else's life outside of mine, and then see where it goes. Just that one connection will lead to another connection,
Right,
and
there.
it's the key.
Yep. The faith and fear when we tell our stories will always help us with our journey. Brittany, that's so true, sweetheart. Cindy, thank you. We'll have you on in just a little bit. I want to read this comment by Justin here. One of the best definitions of fear that I hear is face everything and rise. We must make the choice to rise above our difficulties and differences.
Yep.
Because everybody has them. Everybody has them. But the hardest thing on a person is to hold it in. When you don't let it out, even if it and if you think, I don't want this just to be a psychiatry session or a psychology session where I'm sitting there with a note and a pen going, yes, I see. And how did you feel about that situation when that happened? I want it to be much more than that. But I also want everyone to realize, because everybody has something they struggle with, but it doesn't define you. Your struggles and your different abilities or your disabilities or your spina bifida or your CP or your epilepsy or your multiple sclerosis or your Down syndrome. I'm trying to list them all. I can't do it. They don't define you, but they are part of you.
Yep.
And that's okay. That's okay. Oh, she meant faith over fear. Yeah, that's a great one right there. That's the best statement so far. Faith over fear. I love that. I want to ask you this, Mr. Wilson. I've always heard that fear will keep you on your toes. Fear will make you ready for some things. It's okay to be afraid, but do it in fear anyway. Somebody else said that too. Right. That'll be on later. But I want to ask you, do you think, is it the fear that prevents them from telling their story? Is it the fear of persecution?
I think it's both. I think the fear of telling your story because you don't think you're connecting with anybody or nobody's going to listen. And then, of course, the idea that you possibly have a story and how it pertains to, those around you. And that's the key. Fear is definitely something that keeps you on your toes. And when we talk about fear, we have to look at fear as it actually is a motivator, because in order to overcome fear, you have to go through fear. You can't sit there and dwell on fear and be afraid, because if you're afraid of something, you'll always be, you will always basically set yourself back and you'll never get ahead to where you want to be. And every time you face an opportunity or an obstacle, that fear will kick in and you'll think, what if I succeed? Or what if I fail? Mm-hmm. Some people are just as much afraid of success as they are failure.
But see, I don't look at failure as an option, because failure to me is not, and it took me a while to realize this in my 40 years of growing up, and I'm still growing, to tell you the truth. Failure is not an option. Failure is just another path to get things done.
That's it.
But can people look at it that way, or do they have to see it as not doing something right? And this brings up a whole nother turn. See, that's society, I think. I think that's mostly society. Now, let me see if we can bring Master Rodgers in here, because it looks like we got him. He don't have his mic connected. Let me see here. Hold on. Oh, I can't bring him on because he doesn't have his mic connected. Master Rodgers, if you can hear me, connect your mic and your mic or your camera, and we should be able to see you and hear you. So hopefully I can bring you in. But the amazing thing is, and you talked to me about this before, it's amazing what fear does to people. I've seen it collapse them. Like it's if you talk about it, the world's going to end. But that's the enemy. That's that whole woo. Episode 100. Told you it's going to be a good one. And see, now the comments are coming in now because people are firing off on this. I love this right here. I love this. Fear can motivate us to be sure. We just can't live in it.
That's right.
And so many people live in fear. So many people are afraid of, what if I do this? If I don't do this the right way, I'm going to be humiliated. And when I was talking about it earlier, just before you got on, when I did my first show, I had been on the radio plenty of times, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? What if I run out of topics? And my mind is racing, and then that microphone hit, and I just took it and ran with it, so to speak. That's why I'm in a chair now. But I can't express, I guess the motivation of it, to go there. Once I something in my heart stirred, and I said, I've got to do more than this. And that again is thanks to someone else as well, who'll be on here later. You can do more than this. And I begin to seek that. And when I opened my heart to My CP Doesn't Define Me, or Does Not Define Me, I went, do I really want to do this? There was fear there. There was, what are you going to do? Are you going to get guests to talk about it for an hour? An hour goes so fast on this show. We're already 26 minutes in. 26 minutes in. And it's almost, I think it's going to go more than an hour today, though. I have a feeling. But it's amazing and I've been emotional on this show more times than I can count, but that's okay, because I feel for people, and it's not, oh, I pity you. It's man, look at what has happened. I've had people on this show that have hit rock bottom and come up. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's the right time and the right place.
Right. I mean, all the years that I've been on this planet Earth, I've come across situations where I was, and I don't really fear a lot of things, but I'm cautious. And the reason I'm cautious is because I know, I have to look at the outcome as well as the benefit. Is it going to benefit me, or is it going to actually hurt me in the long run? And so when I make decisions, a lot of times I have, a lot of people look at the small picture all the time. They spend their whole life looking at just the corner of a picture. They focus on one section. And in order to be the person that you're meant to be, you really have to kind of step back and open your eyes and see everything around you. And then once you see everything around you, then you're able to put in perspective where you fit at in the grand scheme of things.
Ooh.
And that's what makes people, that's what makes successful people who they are. They step back and they have to look at the grand scheme. But unfortunately, society has taught us that, nobody's going to listen to you. The trolls are out there always trying to make comments. Hard. The unfortunate side to that is you want to put your story out there. You want to share who you are, but you can't be afraid or fear those people who don't know you, because they don't know you until they get to know you. And the only way for them to get to know you is for you to share who you are. Exactly.
And that's what this platform allows, because I've found out that so many people that share their story on this platform find out more about themselves. And that's the bigger picture part. I was a very tunnel. Look at one thing, look straight. I got this to deal with. Once I started broadening my horizon, I had to go back a little bit because my vision, I'm like, I can't do all this and move all this over here. You kind of have to step back. But a comment like this right here. As a pro boxer, a man with a disability, I look at fear as a way to overcome life. The doctor told me that I wouldn't do much in my life. See, again, society and everything else. One of the biggest things we must remember is we are never alone. God walks with us, holds us up, and takes steps that we can't at times. There's nothing too big for him. And I'm not trying to get religious, and I'm not trying to get political or step on anybody's toes. But I tell you right now, if it weren't for God, I wouldn't be here. And I'm not afraid to say that. It takes effort to tell a story. It takes effort to bring in a situation that hurts. Whether it's, I remember one of my most powerful shows, and I'll tell you, I wasn't going to do it. I talked about being molested on the air. I said, did I just do that on the air?
Mm.
And it scared the ever-loving bejesus out of me because I went, you just said it on the air, dude. Oh, my God. Like, but then a week later, I got a message and another message and another message. And I'm like, there it is. That's what they're talking about. Sometimes you have to do things in fear, as a very wise woman once said, do things in fear anyway. Do it in fear anyway. You have to accomplish it anyway. If you let fear stop you from doing something, you're going to become stagnant because you're going to stay in one area.
That's right.
And your life is not one area. Your life, we are capable of great things. But beyond great is greatness. And I don't want to see just great things. I want to see greatness. And that's what this show has been doing. Great things, but becoming greater and greater and greater. Every time we have a guest on this show, every time we have a story that's new or story that's shared, is good. It makes it more and more powerful, and more people tune in. Oh yeah, we're gonna bring her into. Come on.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking when you talked about greater, but you know, the end result is grateful. And you have to be grateful for the opportunities that are presented to you. You can be great, you can do magnificent things, but you know, the gratefulness of it at the end of the day is knowing that you stepped out your boundaries and actually tried to do something more than just be afraid. You wanted to share who you are. You wanted somebody else to understand that there's more to life than just sitting back and being complacent. And that's right there. Sets a lot of things in motion when you're actually grateful for the fact that you have opportunities. Because there are a lot of people who don't have opportunities or don't get the opportunities. So when you're presented with them, you should share. You should talk about who you are. You should yell it to the rooftops.
I couldn't have said that better myself. That's why when Mr. Wilson speaks, my mouth go like this. It does, because you don't have to say a lot to be powerful. And this lady over here, I said it earlier. You have to do things in fear, and when you wake up, let me say this: when you wake up, it's a good day. Things may not go the way you want them to go. Things may not happen the way you want them to happen.
Right.
But I tell you what, she's one of them people. Don't speak it. And I didn't. I love that, because motivation is one of the keys to great success. And when you have motivators, that's a big difference. Motivation and motivators are two different things. Before she ever says anything at all, she is a motivator and an uplifter, and so are you. Never forget that. You two have been in my corner. Lord, get me preaching up here. You've been in my corner since day one. I'm surprised y'all weren't when I came out the womb talking about, that's DJ. I knew who he is. It really, I was given this opportunity by you guys, and I'm so thankful for every moment that blossoms out of this, because it grows. It continues when it's nourished, and when it's heightened, and when it's taken care of, and it's warmed. It grows and develops.
Right.
But it doesn't just develop here. It develops here. Mm-hmm. Because when I do that, I go, all right, she just told that story. Now I got to look at myself. And that's, I think self-evaluation is one of the most powerful things that allow a person to open themselves up to see what they got. And a lot of people don't want to look in the mirror because they don't like what they see.
Of course.
I'm going to leave it to my two panelists real quick on that one, because I saw Miss Winnie smile. I did. Go ahead, Miss Winnie. I know you got one.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, I was listening to everything y'all said, and I truly understand all of it. And I mean, the fear part, all of it. I'm gonna let y'all continue.
I just, Miss Winnie and Mr. Wilson both, they have a way of I'll say it like this: diagnosing an issue quickly, and they'll say something short, concise, and to the point. I remember talking about my 100th episode. I was tired. There was a show that I was gonna do, and I was like, I ain't got it today. I ain't got it today. I called her. I said, Miss Winnie, I'm tired. I had a rough night. I can't do it. She called me back 30 seconds later. She said, will you do me a favor? Can you give me 15 minutes? I very rarely say no to these two. And there's a reason for that, because I've learned when they speak, something powerful is going to come out of it. And I was like, I was going to say no, but I was like, I couldn't. I'm like, all right, Miss Winnie, let me get up and I'll give you. And she said, all I want you to do is just talk about pushing through. I'm like, dang, is that it?
That's it.
So I got up, I got dressed, I washed my face, jumped on the radio, and I started going. And when I started going, something happened. My inside started to tingle a little bit. And you know when you get talking about something passionate and you wet your lips a little bit and your beard grows just a little bit more and your hair stands up a little straighter? Y'all understand what I'm talking about. Bear with me. I started going and I started feeling and I started reaching and I look at the clock and 15 minutes done went and gone. We at 20:25. I'm like, well, I might as well go 5 more. And I look and I keep going and next thing I know, it's 45 minutes. I said, well, dang on. That was easy. But see, that's the point. It takes to start. You got to start somewhere. And on them rough days, them days where your toes hurt, your toenails hurt, your knees hurt, it hurts to put on jeans. I'm telling y'all, these comments here, they running. And I'm showing them as fast as I can show them, more popping up. It takes something inside. Sometimes you gotta reach deeper than you know how to reach. Sometimes you gotta let God go in there and pull that mess out. Because when that comes to the surface and you tell it, somebody goes, I thought about that. And that's that spark. Y'all ever heard the phrase, it only takes a spark to get a fire going? Same thing for a conversation. Miss Winnie, Mr. Wilson can say one word. I'm like, ooh. Y'all ever had that cat run across your grave feeling you get goosebumps when somebody say something? But this lady here all the time. She say something, I'm just goosebumping left and right. Just, Miss Winnie, stop. I can't control it. Woo! Because it's powerful. Words are powerful. And once you start, it does something to you and it does things to other people. You know,
see, the problem is, DJ, sometimes, back to that statement you just made about, when I called you, sometimes we could feel some kind of way and we think we can't make it through. But we're not all the way at that state where you can't really make it through. It's just in the mind that we feel like we can't and we don't want to. So when I made that statement to you about just give it 15 minutes, my whole thing was, you never know, even out of that 15 minutes, what you could stir up and who you could bless in the midst of that.
Yep.
So this is what your show is all about. Your show is about pushing, in spite of having a disability, different ability, because everybody is unique in their own way, right? Everybody wasn't born with a condition. Some people acquired it along the way. So it's about pushing through what you feel like you're going through. And you might not even be there, but it's just in your mind. So when you start talking and speaking, like your energy right now, your energy wasn't like that earlier, right?
No.
And I said, DJ, no, you don't. No, you don't. You go on there, you do this thing. And you bring up a subject and you take off with that subject. See, because sometimes we have expectations for certain things, and our expectations may not always be what we want it to be. It could be something different, and we just never know. And we won't know if we go in with an attitude, we go in mad, we go in sad, disappointed, or so forth. But if you release that thing and go in like nothing ever happened, that's when you'll see all the great things that can happen out of you just speaking. Your show was made for a reason. Your show is here to be a blessing to others. And be a blessing to others, meaning your stories along with other people's stories. So you can't let go because of one thing or feel sad because of one thing. That blessing is for somebody else out there. And you just got to keep on reaching, keep on pushing, and keep on going, and be a blessing to everybody else.
Now, see, I got somebody in the waiting room. I'm gonna bring in just a minute, but I want to read this first. Courage is a big part of it. The thing about courage is it grows. It can start the size of a mustard seed and grow into a boulder. It's all about flexing the courage muscle. Now, see that, boy, Justin, you starting to preach up here. You better get that mustard seed in there, boy. I tell you, I respect Justin so much. I'm gonna bring Miss Cindy in too. We all gonna be on here together. I got the professional screen now. I can hold everybody. I respect Justin so much. I'm gonna bring Miss Cindy in too. We all gonna be on here together. I got the professional screen now. I can hold. All right, I had to mute a mic. Sorry about this. She watching the broadcast live. I had to mute a mic. But,
okay, I want to say one thing. I'm not going to be long, but I want to say one thing before I leave.
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody that's on here that has been a part of DJ Show that's listening in the comments. Put in the comments what DJ Show has meant to you. How was you blessed by DJ Show? Is there anything else that y'all feel that DJ can bring on his show? Have you been a part of DJ Show? If you haven't been a part of DJ Show and you are one of his listeners, everyday listeners, every week listeners, be a part of his show. Send him a message to be a part of his show. No story is heard undifferent. Every story is different. You know, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but every show is different. Don't assume that you don't matter. Everybody matters. No question is a stupid question. No show is a stupid show. Everybody's life matter. Everybody's disability matter. Everything matters. So you never know your story, how it can help someone else. So don't sit back and swingle on the fence or straddle the fence. Come on, show up and show out and be a blessing to somebody else, because everybody's show has something for somebody.
Miss Wilson, you think you're gonna leave with that hair and that outfit? Come on now. Tell me something before I leave. Let me say this before I bring Cindy on. I wanna mention one thing. One of the reasons my level of energy is the way it is because of all of you. And I want you to understand, I pull my energy from my spectators, my viewers, my guests, my family. Whew. That's one of those things that you just we're gonna have those moments. I don't even want to say days because I ain't trying to speak that. We're gonna have those moments where things may not go the way we want them to go, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the day is going to turn out that way. And it doesn't take long for the Wilsons to bring my energy out, because they are positive thinkers, speakers, and actors on what they do. Everything about them, even in a negative situation, is not today. Devil is a lie. He ain't gonna get that.
Mm-hmm.
She spoke the truth. It's hard to be 110% all the time unless I'm talking to these two. It's very easy when you have someone to speak positivity in your life and to fire you up. That is what the Wilsons are good at. I can be on any kind of way, and Miss Will, all she'll do is fold them arms and look. I said, okay, Miss Wilson, okay. But it's like I had an idea and I wanted something to happen, and it's happening. if I can quote this correctly, which I believe I can, the people that are supposed to be here are here. And
that part.
Thank you for this right here. Very encouraging to watch. I appreciate comments like that. Because that means that what I'm doing is making a difference. But I'm not doing it by myself. You guys are part of it. Now, I'm not sure where everybody going, but I ain't going nowhere yet. So hang with me. All right, Miss Cindy. I hope you got your the Facebook off there, because I'm gonna unmute you in just a second here. Make sure we ain't got no echo. Hold on. All right, let's see if I can I unmute her? How do we, oh, it's right here. All right. No. Why is it not? Are you able to unmute, Miss Cindy? It let me mute you, but I don't know. Right. No.
Yeah.
Why is it not? Are you able to unmute? So you've got the Facebook broadcast on. Can you turn that off?
Can you hear me?
Right. No.
Yeah.
I can. Are you able to unmute? So you've got the Facebook broadcast on. Can you turn that off?
Can you hear me? Yeah, hold on just a minute.
I can. Are you able to unmute? So you've got the Facebook broadcast on. Can you turn that off?
Let's see. Yeah, hold on just a minute. I don't know. Oh, no, I don't. Let's see. Yeah, hold on just a minute. No, I don't have it on. I don't know.
It's on. Are you on a computer and a phone?
No, I'm just on the computer. No, I don't have.
Okay, so mute it on your computer. On a computer and a phone?
No, I'm just on the computer. No, I don't have.
Okay, so mute it from his.
All right.
That ain't gonna work. Somehow, some way it's going wrong.
I think she's on through Facebook is why, because she's got a video. She's got my video playing.
Okay, so this is what you need to do. You need to cut it off on Facebook and just go straight through the link. Okay, so this is what you need to do. You need to, because you can't listen to Facebook and stream at the same time. It would be too much interference. Do you have it off on Facebook? We can't hear you, but can you not?
Yeah, I think she's got it on Facebook somehow. That's what. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Okay, so you don't want to lose too much time, DJ. Cindy, try to cut it.
She's good now.
Okay, so you don't want to lose too much time.
It goes through.
DJ, Cindy, try to cut it.
She's good now.
Okay, so you don't want to lose too much time. Something's still not right.
Yeah, I had to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because to have someone come on your show and to share their thoughts. Your 100 show is awesome, and we appreciate you, Cindy, for the will to want to come on DJ show and share what his show meant to you and what you've learned from his show. So I can't see DJ comments or anything like that, but I hope you all are commenting on his page to let him know what his shows have meant to you. Why do you listen to his shows? Why do you follow him? Congratulate him for his 100th show and not giving up. Because sometimes in life, doing stuff like this, it can be overwhelming. And it's an every week thing. So life does happen. But to continue on and get to your 100th show is phenomenal. And I congratulate you, DJ, 100% for pushing through everything. The days you didn't want to, the days you couldn't, the days, all of those moments, the feelings, the fear, the thoughts, the everything, all the emotions that could have transpired in the midst of, but you kept going. I salute you to the utmost for pushing through everything and making your 100 show. So congratulations, DJ. I'm proud of you. Just keep going, keep doing what you got to do. And I just look forward to more. I look forward to seeing you on the big screen.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm talking to a couple. I'm Siskel and Ebert now, But I honestly, Melissa and I are beyond excited and proud of you, DJ. You've given us a fantastic opportunity to share our story. Thank you. Blessings. We look forward to the third. You know what? These guys here, I got to tell you, actually, Dan just sent me, my phone is lighting up right now. I got people blowing my phone up. My buddy Dan from England just commented on my show, on my CD, things that are happening. There's so much going on in my life right now. But this, and I said this, I was actually talking to a group of folks the other day, and they asked me, when you get big, are you still going to do My CP Does Not Define Me? I said, very, very, very simply, let me put it to you like this. This show don't stop. As long as I'm alive, I could be in Turkey somewhere. Well,
Okay.
There it goes. That's Wednesday. Miss Winnie made me laugh. Okay, Wednesday 2:00 is on. Because I am not bigger than My CP Does Not Define Me. I am not bigger than the music that I put out. I'm not bigger than any of that. It's not about, as I said in the beginning, this is about you guys. And the fact that more people are coming off and getting on and the views don't stop. I used to be so concerned about numbers, and I'm saying this because it's important. The Wilson family taught me very early to not be focused on who is going to be. When is it going to be? What is it going to be? Focus on what it is and enjoy that moment. Because if you don't enjoy the moment of where you are, it's going to pass and you're not going to realize what a great moment that was. These moments that have happened because of these two folks sitting right here, and there's actually a third. I'm not sure what Kelly's doing, but she's part of it too. Everything that I do, I realize there's a portion that's much bigger than me. Because as I said, when Mr. Wilson was on here at first, when someone else shares a story, it does something to them, for them, with them. And it invokes or encourages or pushes or shows someone else that they too can share their story.
Mm-hmm.
They too can. You are all capable of doing radio shows, podcasts. It's simple. You just start. You start. You pick a topic. You make it relevant. I mean, there's so much going on in this world today. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna tell you, we need something. Dang, Miss Winnie done went outside. She everywhere.
I'm gonna hold on till I get to my destination.
I just no. I have so much respect for. You're able to show an ability because it's more than just that. I was very comfortable with the Sports Minion radio show. I was very comfortable with that. I wanted to take my CP and go with it. And when Miss Winnie encouraged me, for lack of better words, to broaden my horizons and say, you're capable of more. Try this, try this, try this, try this. There was a moment where I wasn't ready to receive that. I'm like, have you lost your mind? I'm not doing all that. And I gave her a look. I said, I don't have time for that. And the 3 words that came out her mouth next, I will never forget. She folded them arms, tilted that chin down, gave me the eye, and said, yes, you do. And I respect that because it was that. She could have left it alone. She could have left it alone right there and squashed it. But she didn't. She saw, and this is what amazes me. I've been told that I'm able to be a leader for a long time. I've been told that I'm a leader. I've been told that I'm powerful. I've been told that I do this, that for a long time. But I didn't see it. And I've also heard, and I want to make sure I say this right, Mr. Wilson can come in on this. Often when you don't see it means you're doing it right.
Yep.
I mean, is that because being a leader, I don't want to get my head this big because it can barely fit through the door now. I'm just saying, I got to keep it where it's at. I don't want to stop my CP because my CP does not define me because other things are going good in my life.
Right.
Because I'm dedicated to people. I'm dedicated to this show. I give 100% or I don't give it at all. That's why we own Show 100 now. Today did not start out of the greatest energy level as Miss Mama, Lord Jesus, Miss Winnie said. I did not see. Sometimes you can't see the big picture because it's not in front of you. God's only going to let you see what He's ready for you to see until you get to that moment. But every moment is a powerful moment to be able to share something. Now, Nikki, this right here is cute. Being on your show meant so much. All the problems that we've had that day, the day I was so happy for the anniversary of Kelly's Choice. I'm glad I was able to bring you on. I'm glad you were able to be on the show, and I appreciate that. I mean, but it does not mean anybody can accomplish their dreams if they dream big enough and they try hard enough. But if you don't put forth the effort and you don't put forth what you want to do, it's not easy. It is not easy. Nobody said life was going to be easy. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, "And I say to thee, life will be easy for the rest of your days."
Yep.
Don't say that. Trials and tribulations. The path may be narrow, but straight there, the gate's on the other side. You got to get there. You got to get there. And I'm not always going to do it right. And let me say this too. Support is key. Up here,
it's everything. Support is everything.
Yep.
And the village.
Yep.
We got to support each other. And I always say, every time I get on your show, share his show. Everybody that's following him, commenting, listening to him, share his show, because you never know whom else needs to hear, not just DJ, but it's everybody else as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that support can mean a lot of things, and it could go so many ways, so yeah, just share his show. And I just wanted to say that about support, because that is important.
Another word that's been talked about a lot today is courage. And I want to say this. It takes courage to tell a story. The lady to my right is one of the best storytellers I've ever known. She can tell a story better than somebody sitting in a circle with some kids and story time and the storybook and the munchies. When you're talking to her and all of a sudden she's telling a story and your body is doing this, you're getting closer and closer. Pretty soon I had to back myself up from the screen because my eyes started hurting, because I'm always up like this, trying to listen, I think I'm trying to just get in there and hug her. You can't, and Cindy does. Cindy shares my show every single week, and I appreciate that.
That's good.
And for the fans that are up here, every week, thank y'all. Thank you, because I could not do it without you guys. It is very difficult to tell a story without an audience. It is very difficult to give all of this energy without an audience. Now I can talk about a lot of stuff, but if I'm talking to myself, it ain't gonna go nowhere unless I start talking back. Then I'm going to the padded room with the white suit. That I'll tell you now. But again, Mr. Wilson is he will speak, and he will speak well, but you don't have to say 520 million words to get your point across.
No, you don't.
So I'm gonna say this: these are some powerful people, but it's what they believe in. It's what they believe in and what they do, and to be part of this. See, everybody has a, whether you realize it or not, everybody has a circle that they need to be part of. You have your friends, you have your family, but then you've got those people that are with you. Whether you, there have been times Miss Winnie's been with me and I haven't even known it. She will do things and pop up. Mr. Wilson will do things and pop up out of nowhere. I'm like, what in the world? But she does it. They do it to do it. That's it. They do it to do it. And it's not for recognition. This show is not about recognition. This show is about expansion, getting better, having guests, and giving people a chance to share something that is inside of them, that they dealt with, that they've struggled with, that they fight with, it is difficult, but it can be done.
Yeah.
Do either of you have a moment that you can reflect on, or just, I mean, is there a particular moment that you remember where, and to say this question, not that I was all inspiring, that you kind of went, was there a moment particularly that you can remember where it impacted you a certain way? Can you think of a moment? I mean, I know Miss Wilson had to do something, so.
Well, I mean, I'm always impacted by different things because I try to take information and the people I come across and learn from them. You know, one of the things I used to do, I used to work for a company and I used to train a lot of people. And what I would tell them is, the trainees, go around and learn from everyone as much as you can, and then pick what you can out of what you learn and utilize it in your arsenal. So therefore you can have a wider range or bigger gambit as opposed to just what you think you know. Mm-hmm. You know, but a prime story. Same company, when I first got hired there, I did my interview, and one of the managers told them not to hire me. And I asked him, I said, why would, him and I became good friends later on in life. He was a very nice guy. But I asked him, I said, why would you tell him not to hire me? He said, because I thought you were cocky. And I said, why would you say I'm cocky? He said, because you knew everything that we were going to ask you. And I said to him, I said, well, do you know the difference between being cocky and being confident? And he said, no. I said, a cocky person doesn't know the limitations. A cocky person doesn't know when to stop and then how to reassess. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it doesn't always work in their favor. A confident person knows where they can go to, what part of the ceiling they can stop at. Then they'll take a step back, reevaluate, and then pass the threshold. That's what makes you successful. And, he thought about that for a minute. He said, wow, that was actually pretty profound. I didn't think about it like that. And I said, don't be mad at me because I take the time to learn my craft. Mm-hmm. If I'm learning, if I'm trying to utilize to better help people, then why wouldn't you embrace that and say, you know what, we should have other people train with you, which is what they eventually did. And I trained more, we call them President's Club, but I trained more President's Club members at the time who actually made it to President's Club because of my tutelage and trying to help them understand it's not about just selling, it's about the relationship of the sale. What can both of you, yes, you're going to get paid, but do you have a relationship in the long run? So when that person comes back 4 years later, 10 years later, do they remember you or do they remember something about you? Did you build that rapport? And that's where a lot of times I think we miss, once again, as I was talking, earlier, people don't connect with each other. They look at whatever little bit of information they do pass on, they feel that's enough instead of sharing the whole gambit, instead of sharing the whole pie.
You know, I love how you said there's a big. Do you know the difference between being cocky and being confident? And the other thing that surprised me was, don't be mad at me because I learned my craft. That and you handled the situation properly, because what he said to you in response was, "Oh wow, I didn't even think about it like that." But see, if he would have, when he said don't hire him, that put a bad impression on you, and you hadn't even got a chance to step up to bat yet. And then he went back and said, "Man, I shouldn't have said that." That's what I'm talking about. People have to think before they speak. And the reason I said that, I've known our 4-year anniversary of the first show that I ever did with the Wilson family came up 2 days ago. And there's something that Miss Wilson says, and she says it almost daily. And I literally, I'm going to get it stenciled on my wall. She said it to me the other day. She said, be careful how you speak, because when you speak, the projection of what you speak can come across the wrong way just by saying something you didn't mean to say. That's right. So you have to be really careful how you speak about something, because words can hurt. Words can break down people. Words can break them down. And the fact that you rebounded from, do you know the difference between cocky and confident, and didn't let it stifle you and said, well, I'm going to walk out of here. You don't want to hire me. I see what you see. That might have been something I would have done, rolled over his foot on the way out. But see, that's a lot of people. But see, you thought about it because he wasn't, it's what he perceived. And the question that you asked, because I noticed it, the eyebrows went up. It said, why did you perceive that? Why did you perceive that as cocky? Because you knew the answer of everything we asked you. Well, do you know the difference between cocky and confident? Bam! And when you said it, I'm like, dang, I don't even know if I knew that, because I mean, but do you get that a lot though? I mean, does that happen often?
To a degree, because of the fact that I'm one of those people who actually like to learn, so I'm always researching and trying to develop and do better. And I will sit up all night long trying to figure something out, days on end, before I let it beat me, because I don't really like to lose, in a sense. I like to know what I'm working with. So whenever this young lady here actually has something for me to do, or she wants to start something, it's my job to figure it out. It's my job to take the gift that God has given me and actually utilize it to actually make everything work. And that's what, I've been really blessed with, so.
Well, but one of the other things too, as I got these two fine people in the broadcast real quick, Ms. Wilson, leaning over this way. You bring your eye. There you go. Okay, now we got you. I had part of your face over there. I had to. Some people strive so hard to be perfect. They work so hard. I got to get this just right. I got to go and I got to tinker and I got to mess and I got to. There's no such. The only perfection that we got is right up there.
Oh yeah,
and that's the only perfection we're ever going to have. But striving to do your best, and this is another thing. There are three phrases. I could have like a list of phrases that both of y'all say, and they soak in this. And I've always said, when something impacts me, it goes up here and it sticks. It sticks. I don't forget very much. But in the same, when it's powerful to this, I believe that so many people want to be perfect or want to strive for perfection that they stop before they ever give themselves a chance to be good enough to succeed.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Yeah. That was I like that one. I like that one.
People would do that because they don't want to be criticized. So they'll spend all this time trying to perfect something, and they miss opportunities because they're trying to get it just right. And you have to actually start and then work from there, because each opportunity that you come across has a different learning curve in it. And you have to take from that learning curve to actually include in your everyday use. And that's what makes you grow more and more every single day is the fact that you're learning from what's in front of you and not just sitting there going, well, I know, it happened, but oh, well, it is what it is. And you keep going. You have to look at, okay, this happened. How can I use bits and pieces of it to benefit me and those around me for the greater good?
Let me say this: we approached the hour and it went past. But I want to give my two people here a minute, because I know, and I don't know, but I want to make sure that there's nothing that they want to say to close, because I think, I want to give them that moment to maybe reach to our audience a little bit. Mr. Wilson, you got anything you want to close with?
I just want to say congratulations. You've done an amazing job.
Thanks, sir.
You continuously try to advance yourself and advance those around you by just trying to uplift them with, good stories, good commentary. And those are the things that really build communities. And as long as we can build communities, we'll always have a family connection.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Ms. Wilson?
I had to mute my phone. Again, congratulations for making it through 100 shows. Some people don't make it that long because they give up or for other reasons, so I salute you for keep going and just keep doing it. Just keep going, keep pushing. You just never know where this can take you. You just never know. Keep reaching out to more people, more solutions, more ideas, more visions, and the best is yet to come. And that's it. And one more thing, for the listeners, please, if you hear it now or hear it later, please share with DJ how much his show means to you, what you have learned from his show, and share his show. Okay? And that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Mama Wilson. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Y'all, she got some internet children, y'all. Y'all go ahead and deal with it. It's okay. It is what it is. But look, I want to say thank y'all for making 100 episodes great. Thank you to my fans, to the commenters, those listening on Disability Global Broadcast, those listening on Facebook, StreamYard, YouTube. I'm broadcasting to all 3 locations at one time. So on my page as well, please, 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 please continue me. Wow. Hello, CP. Continue to send me your stories. And if you'd like to be part of the show, you can email me at mycpdoesnotdefinememe@yahoo.com. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. MyCP does not define me. You can catch me on YouTube, Chairmaster Games, and also Worth the Wait Cooking with DJ Carter. And one little small detail just to throw out there really quickly. My new CD, My Chair, is available on all platforms of music out there right now. It's available on Apple Music, Amazon, iTunes, Pandora. I'm pretty sure it's broadcasting in Mars somewhere. You'll see the description down below. I have a website now that is strictly devoted to My Chair that has all the links on it. Yeah, we just finished that yesterday. So that is up and running. All the links are there. You can buy it, stream it, download it, give it to your mama, daddy, dog, goldfish, somewhere, some way. And as I say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away. We'll see you next Wednesday for episode 101 of My CP Does Not Define Me.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. If you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, we post all of the show videos in our My CP playlist. I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. And if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.